everyone! It's been a long time since I last uploaded a video, and today I would love to share with you some things that I've been sewing. I've sewn a lot in the past spring, summer, and I know in Australia we're officially in autumn now, even though today it's still really warm. But I thought, hey, this video would probably be interesting, especially for those of you who are living on the other side of the world and you're just starting to experience your spring or summer now. And yeah, I just hope you enjoy. I've made a lot of things and I haven't included everything in this video, but I've chosen my favorites. So if you want, grab a cup of tea, come back and sit back and enjoy. So the first make that I'm going to talk about is the one that I'm wearing. So this summer, well, the past summer, I've been really obsessed with jumpsuits because they're just an easy all-in-one outfit. And this one that I'm wearing is the Tilly and the Buttons Marigold jumpsuit, and I'm just going to cut away so you can see what it looks like. And it's got these lovely thick straps. I've actually made the straps a bit thinner, and I've also shortened the pants quite a bit as well, because obviously I'm only 5 foot tall, I'm very short. And I made it in this lovely medium weight linen from the fabric store. This color is called Paprika, which I thought was perfect for this shade. The only thing is, because it's a medium weight fabric, it doesn't have a lot of give. And when I am doing things like crouching on the floor, or if I'm kind of on my knees on the floor doing things, it can be a little bit restrictive, especially around my calves. But apart from that, it's a really comfortable jumpsuit to wear. And I might also add that this zipper on the side right here is actually a thrifted zipper that I got from an op shop. So I'm really glad about that. I think the past summer I've really been trying to be sustainable with whatever I'm making. So, but then you're going to see more of that later. So yeah, I really love this pattern. It was quite an easy make. This is actually my second Marigold jumpsuit, and I loved my first one, which I made in a black cheesecloth. And I definitely will be making more of these jumpsuits in the future. And these are great layering pieces. I've actually already worn this with a black tight-fitting turtleneck top. So I think, and also with a white t-shirt underneath. So I think this is a really great transitional piece, actually. Actually, with all the jumpsuits that I'm about to talk about, I'm planning to wear them in autumn with, you know, a turtleneck underneath. And I think that looks, you know, still in at the moment as well. So I'm really enjoying it. The second jumpsuit that I'm going to talk about is this really popular pattern from Peppermint Magazine. It's a free pattern, so if you go onto Peppermint Magazine website, and I'll actually link it down below as well, you'll find a free pattern that you can just download. This is the Peppermint Magazine jumpsuit. I've made this one in mustard, and I've also made another one. This is a linen, by the way. And I've also made another one in this green and black. Now, listen, this is a linen look polyester. So it looks like linen, but the great thing about it is that it doesn't crease at all. So no matter what I do, it won't crease. So I really love it. This was actually my toile, whereas this one was my second one. And I'm going to quickly talk about what I think of this pattern. This pattern was really well drafted. The instructions were really clear. I hardly made any modifications to it at all. All I did was shortened the straps by 3 centimeters. So basically I just increased the seam allowance by another 1.5 centimeters, and then I was fine. And I also, as usual, shortened the leg by I think it was 4 inches or 10 centimeters. And so sadly my camera actually stopped recording and it got too dark, so this is actually the next day when I'm recording this. I'm trying really hard by staying in the same outfit, you see. So I believe where I left off was when I was talking about the Peppermint jumpsuit. So on the mustard jumpsuit, I actually added inseam pockets, and I kind of regret it. It is really convenient, but I feel like it added extra bulk to the hips. And I don't really need that because I am really short already, and I don't really want to draw the eyes horizontally in that sense. And I also added belt loops for my belt because I really didn't want the hassle of having to put my belt somewhere when I go to the toilet or something, and it's just nice to have everything together in the wash as well. So the belt loops were really simple. I just basically had 2 long triangles which I kind of folded it and sewn together, and to determine where I wanted the belt loops, I just put it on, I cinched my waist in with the belt, and I figured out, you know, where I wanted it to be. So that was really simple. I really love these jumpsuits because whenever I wear them, people say, oh my goodness, you look really stylish today, when really I haven't made any effort at all. I've just got out of bed, jumped into this jumpsuit, and out I went. And I think that's the great thing about jumpsuits. They just make you look extra stylish when really you didn't even try. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is something that I really loved. And I actually made 2 versions of this. It's actually this slit dress that I made. Now, I first heard about this pattern on Instagram when I saw this other girl. I forgot what her Instagram account was, but I'm going to link her down below. She made this Christy slit dress by Just Patterns, so that's the name of the company, and she actually made it out of the same fabric, and I was so inspired. I actually ended up getting the same fabric and I made the same slit dress, except I really shortened it because I only had 1 meter of this beautiful silk crepe by Marc Jacobs. I only had 1 meter and I really wanted to make a dress, so I managed to squeeze it out of it, and I was really proud that I did. The only thing was, it was my first time dealing with silk, and I stretched out the neckline quite badly, and I ended up having to add an extra seam at the back just to compensate for that, because otherwise it just looked really bad. Like the back really gaped out. I really love this pattern. So it's called the Christy slip dress. The instructions are really minimal, so they do assume a certain level of sewing experience from the sewer, but I just thought it was really easy to follow. Basically, it's just finished with French seams, it's fully lined, and yeah, and with understitching, it's just really satisfying to put together. And I loved it so much that I also made a cami version of it. So this is my cami version of it. I made it out of this navy polyester that I've had in my stash for a long time now, and I just really love it. I think it looks so chic, it looks really luxe, and I just love it as a layering piece in this kind of weather. In Australia, sometimes it's really cold in the morning around this time of the year, but then when it hits 11 or 12 o'clock, it really heats up because our sun is so harsh. So this is just really nice to have underneath, like a cozy sweater or something. I love it tucked into high-waisted pants, and these pants that I'm wearing, I'm about to talk about it as well. So yeah, I just really love this pattern, and I'm so gonna make more of these. The next thing that I made, well, the next things that I made were my Dawn jeans by Megan Nielsen. So this is a rigid jean pattern. I actually pattern tested for her, I think last year. And I have to say, I wasn't very successful when I was testing that pattern because I didn't choose the right fabric. I made my first pair out of this IKEA curtains. So yes, it was a pair of IKEA curtains, and I just fell in love with the stripes, and I decided to use it to make my Dawn jeans. I went for the exposed button fly, and I really love how it gives it that slight vintagey look to it. I don't know, when I look at these pants, it just makes me think of like a beachy holiday, or you know, just a holiday in Greece, or in the European summer or something. I really love these, and I think pattern, her instructions were so clear, and I love how this pattern comes with 3 different fly options. So there was the exposed button fly, there was the classic button fly, where you know it's concealed, and I'm going to show you the other zip fly that I did on my second pair as well. The best thing about these pants are that they're so high-waisted, but I did have to make just one alteration. Firstly, I was a size 2 according to my hip measurements, but then my waist, after I made it, I had so much room on the 2 sides of my waist, so I did have to actually take in the waist quite a bit. I believe I took in 3 centimeters from each side, so it was 6 centimeters altogether that I had to take out, because otherwise it was gaping out so much that it was pretty embarrassing when I was sitting down. So I decided to unpick the whole waistband, unpick all the lovely top stitching that I did, and start it again. I'm really proud of myself that I did. And now I really like the way that it fits. The only thing is, because this was a very, very rigid fabric, I feel a little bit nervous whenever I'm sitting down, whenever I'm crouching, or just whenever I'm needing to bend my legs, because it does feel really tight and I really don't want to bust the stitching. So I would suggest if you are wanting to make a pair of these Dawn jeans, choose a material that's rigid but with a slight little stretch in it. These curtains are probably too rigid for this purpose, for the purpose of pants. Oh, by the way, for the hem, instead of hemming it the normal way, I actually did a fray hem. I followed the tutorial by Colette Patterns on how to have an unfinished hem. I'll actually link it down below as well. All I did was sew a row of stitching around where I wanted the frame to stop, and then I just kind of pulled out all the horizontal threads. I forgot if that's called the warp or the weft. I forgot, so forgive me for not using the proper term for that. And I really like the way that it looks. It looks even more beachy that way, I thought. Now, my second pair, I wanted to make a pair of trousers that didn't look so casual, because I have so many pairs of jeans, but I don't really have a pair of high-waisted trousers that I really, really loved. So after seeing a pink linen version of the Dawn jeans on Megan Nielsen's Instagram, I decided to choose a navy fabric and kind of reduce the top stitching a little bit to give it, to not give it so much of that jean look, but more of a trouser look. And yeah, I made it out of this cotton. This time I chose to use the zip fly front. So if I can just show you. So yeah. And I thought that was really easy to put in. Her instructions were just so clear, and I love this. I love wearing this with my cami, which you had already seen. I love wearing it with a white t-shirt. It just makes everything look so stylish. The only thing is, I think there's just a little bit more too much stretch in this fabric. So around the knees, as you can see, because I was actually wearing it today earlier, after you put it on for a few hours, the fabric seems to kind of stretch a little bit, and it just looks a little bit baggier than it should. But then it's still really nice because the waistband stays nice and high on my natural waist, so I really love it. So the next thing that I'd like to show you, and this is actually a matching set, so I'll actually show it to you one by one. The first is another free Peppermint Magazine pattern. The spring shorts. It's got this gorgeous paper bag waistline with an elastic in there. So this drawstring is actually just a decorative detail. It does have an elastic in it just to keep it nice and tight on your waist. I love how the sides of it is slightly shorter, so it makes your legs look just that little bit longer. It's nice and high-waisted, and I made it out of this beautiful cotton linen from the fabric store once more. And from the same fabric, I made an Ogden cami. So I'm very late to the game, I know. I've been putting this off because I was just kind of umming and ahhing about whether or not I need another new pattern in my collection. I was really trying to downsize my pattern collection. But anywho, I gave in and I'm so glad I did. I made this Ogden cami out of the same fabric as the shorts. So when I wear it together, it looks like a jumpsuit, but then I also have the option of wearing them separately. I cropped it because I didn't have enough fabric, you see. I cropped it so then it's kind of just where my belly button is. So it goes really, really well with my high-waisted pants, my skirts and everything. And I just find this to be a really breezy outfit. And I just think whenever you wear a matching outfit, it also makes you look like you've put a lot of thought into your outfit when really you haven't. So the very last thing that I'm going to show you is actually my proudest make for this month. I've been really learning about sustainability in the fashion design course that I'm doing at the moment, and it's crazy to learn about how much pollution the fashion industry has actually contributed to this world. And I have also been watching The Great British Sewing Bee, which is a reality sewing show in the UK. And for those of you who have never watched that, I highly recommend it. It's such a heartwarming show and everyone's so genuine. There's no dramas and yeah, you just get so many cool, fun ideas for sewing as well. And I think it was week 4 when it was Sustainability Week. That was the theme for the challenges for that week. And I think Esme on the show mentioned that home sewers actually throw away as much as 30% of all their fabrics, you know, just from offcuts from their scraps as well. And I just thought that was pretty crazy. So I decided to save my scraps, and I didn't really have a reason to use them until I saw LB Textiles on Instagram. I think the girl's name was Lauren. She actually made a patchwork dress out of these scraps that she's been collecting, and she's really inspired me to do the same. So then I thought, yay! I finally found a way to use all my scraps, because I was just going to use the scraps for things like, you know, a poof stuffing or just little projects, but none of them really appealed to me and I never got started on them. So I made a dress out of all my scraps. So these were actually scraps that were collected within the last 5 garments or so. And I really, really love this. At first I thought it was kind of too crazy for me to wear out, but I realized if I put a black turtleneck underneath it, it actually looks really cool. So I'll definitely be wearing this in the Australian autumn. The pattern that I used for this was the Peppermint. Again, it's a free pattern. It's the Peppermint Magazine Peplum top pattern. So all I did was I lengthened the peplum bit of the top and I turned it into a dress. It was nice and easy. I didn't make any changes to it, and in hindsight I should have actually done a toile because it's a little bit loose across my chest because I'm a very small person. But then I thought, you know, using more fabric to create a muslin would kind of defeat the purpose of being sustainable. I decided to just go for it. So if some of you, if you haven't read LB Textiles' blog post on her patchwork dress, I highly suggest that you do that, because after reading hers, I realized in order to patch my fabric together in the most kind of economical way was to create a full paper pattern of the top. So you know how normally when we cut a top we have half of it and we cut the fabric out on a fold? Well, I actually created the other half of the paper pattern. I pieced it so that it's one full front, and then I laid it on top of the fabric that I was patching together. That way I was able to kind of follow the shape of the bodice when I'm patching it together. So the gathered waist was a little bit of a challenge to do because of the different thickness of the fabric. So you'll see that the gathering is a little bit uneven, but you know, hey, I think this dress means more than just fashion. I think this dress is a great conversation starter. So whenever people would stop me and ask me about my dress and say, oh, I love your dress, it's another opportunity for me to talk about sustainability in fashion. So yeah, I really love it, and I can't wait to wear it more in autumn. So those are all the pieces that I'm going to share with you today from my Australian spring summer. But as you can see, heaps of these pieces can easily transition into autumn just with layering. You know, I've said it so many times, but a black turtleneck I think is a great staple for layering anything. And that just means that I can make better use of the clothes that I do have, and I think that's what being sustainable is all about. It's not about throwing all your clothes away and only making or only making new things, but it's more about making the most out of what you already have. I hope I've inspired you to try out some of these patterns, and right now I'm actually looking for a really basic blazer or jacket pattern. I'm just after like a really simple blazer that I can just throw on top of my jumpers, my sweaters, and all of that in winter. If you've got any ideas, please let me know, and I would love to try that out this winter. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're having a great day. Bye! I completely forgot about this, but it would be great if you could follow me on my Instagram and my Facebook page for more sewing related inspirations, and it would mean the world to me if you could hit subscribe right now for more sewing related videos. Hope to see you soon.